This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Colley.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Just Nuggets Podcast. My name is K. Colley. Just Janet, how you doing today?
Just Janet's good.
That's good to hear. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and I guess late Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's true.
To you and those listening. I'm feeling good. Not as good as our Nuggets, but I'm feeling good.
And it was good that we got that 1 week off, to watch a couple good games. Now we're seeing it, like I always have been saying throughout this podcast, it's good to get a good slate of games so we can really, digest in different ways. But we got a win last night. We got a good home. We're finally back home. We got a win last night against the Rockets. Say what you must about the Rockets, not maybe the best team, but a win's a win, and especially a win like that where you have the ability to let all your guys play extra minutes. Ish Smith got a lot of minutes in there last night. So we'll just start with you, Just Janet. What are you thinking from last night?
Yeah, I thought they did great last night. I mean, hopefully they keep that energy up. We saw some sightings. We saw a DeAndre sighting under the basket with the second squad a lot. We saw an Ish Smith. He's been out and doing his thing. That's helpful. I start with the bench only because our bench is I think the key to us getting to that championship and doing some damage. So that's always my thoughts. So I think that was good. And then I know we're going to talk about him later. Cancar and that. And so I thought they had a good swing of things here, getting back to healthy. We still were down MPJ and Bones last night, but everyone else was there and energy was high, and I love the game. You said Houston is one of those teams that you got to be ready for because they were shooting lights out with three-pointers.
They started the game. They started the game on our tail. I think they're only down 2 points. Yeah,
kept us going, nick and tuck, and then we pulled away finally. But they're a good team as far they're young.
They're young. And I like Jalen Green's a good basketball player. So the Rockets, say what you must. They need some time, but there's some guys that'll turn out to be something. The guy from Auburn, Jalen Smith, he's pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jabari.
Yeah. I was like, I knew he was from Auburn.
Yeah, number 2 overall pick. I think he's got a lot of growing to do. But so do the Rockets in general. And when you watch that game last night, what was apparent to me is that the Rockets are good. They're talented. They're a couple players away. I think they have a great trade piece with Eric Gordon come February. I don't know if the Nuggets will be in the running for that, but he will be on a contender come April, and which is good because he's one of those players that's been in the league a long time, and I would love to see him, on a Phoenix or a Philadelphia or Denver or someone competing for a championship. But the Nuggets did exactly what they need to do last night. They let a good team hang around who wanted to play good because they're playing up to their competition. But then when the show started and who's going to win this game, the Nuggets pulled away from them. And it gets to your point, Dot, that they, they got everybody in the game, Zeke Naji looked good last night.
Yeah, he did. I think that was his best game. I mean, I don't know. He may have.
He kind of has games like that every season. The one that comes to mind last season was at New York.
Right.
I think he had like 21. I need to check the stats on that. But he had a great game at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And last night wasn't on that level, but it was just a good, solid. He hit that one at the buzzer in the third. And that was kind of like the nail. His 3 at the end of the third, like Davon's at the end of end of the first?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it just kind of was like, it's not your night. So, they run it back tomorrow. What day is it?
This is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. They run it back on the 30th.
Tomorrow.
So, hopefully the Nuggets win that one.
You said something interesting, Christoph. I heard Malone's press conference, and he was talking about how he has some chess pieces. And I think in his mind, he wants to see what everybody has and how they're, how they're growing. That's why he's been using Najee and Cancar and, Davon and all of the people who he needs to see where he could fit them and who plays well together. I think he's getting a great opportunity now. And being at home for these next couple of games will actually help them as well.
This might sound a little bit Nuggets fan cynical. I used to think when you'd say that point, or Malone makes that point, that'll help us come playoffs. Like, oh, that's going to help us with depth in the playoffs. Now I'm like, a little bit more cynical to that. It's like that helps you if injuries occur, or in this year's case, illness or sickness occurs, and you're just missing those players, and those players are picking up like really quality minutes. Because to cap that point is that the playoffs, the rotations get so tiny.
Right, they do.
They get 6 or 7 players, maybe 8. So we're not going to really see Zeke Naji come, second round of the playoffs if the Nuggets make it there. However, but to get there, or say something bad happens to someone. I don't want to put no one there.
Please no.
But say something bad happens. The run and the time they're getting on the court currently, yes, it's different in the playoffs. That's very clear. But that awareness, that confidence, that relationship and chemistry they're building with their teammates, and knowing what sets and playing in different sets, because if you're playing more minutes, you're playing with different guys. That's going to help you come, if anything bad was to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think also it's good to see players that are on our team making contributions. Like Vlatko Cančar, he didn't have any points last night, but the last 2 games he's been playing very well. And all those national games he had during the summer he's starting to turn him into a full basketball player as far as like the what he's contributing to the team.
Yes.
Then you get someone like a Ish Smith, who I guess when the trade went down, you're like, this guy, I know this name, but you didn't really get to watch him play.
Yeah.
So see him play in Denver, and he is one of the best mid-range shots I'd say in the NBA. And I'm not saying that from like a huge like Nuggets homer, but it's like if you look at his mid-range, that joint just goes in when he shoots it.
Goes in.
And then I just wanted to also think about it from like, I know hockey, they always give their 3 stars, but I think for my at least my 2 stars last night are Jok and Mal, because they play. It's good to see them both play to get off each other, right? Because Jamal had 31 points, it was a season high, and then you have Joker with a 32 piece, and he didn't have a Sombor triple double, but he was pretty close. He had 8 assists. And 12 rebounds to go along with it. So it was just a nice team win, and you gotta appreciate those.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, little caveat here, just a little quick note. It did make my heart smile seeing Kenyon Martin at the Pepsi can last night.
It was cool.
And his son had 15 last night, but it was kind of cool. Just
Ball arena. I'm just joking.
The can, okay.
I just want to make sure.
I didn't say the full thing.
The aluminum.
No, I'm messing up. And I guess one other thing.
Yeah, just take out the first word.
I'll say one last thing from last night. AG only had 4 points, but he had one of the best dunks I've seen in a while. That dunk was worth 6 points. Not just joking. But it was a good dunk. It was really good.
I really like DeAndre Jordan's one, too. Just boomed out.
Oh, my God.
And he had another one, and, obviously, as we all climb up in age, you can't do the things you could do when you were younger and more athletic, and specifically in his case.
Yeah.
But there was a moment after he had that dunk, after they had that alley-oop, he like spun on one of their backup centers, not Boban, but one of the other centers, and he just went up and he got fouled. But I was like, oh my God, if he had that 2013 bounce, that dude was about to be on a Brandon Knight style poster. Not that bad, but it was about to be a poster.
Goodness.
Yeah, I just think a couple episodes ago, I said, Jamal, trust your legs, trust your knees, trust, you get it. And he's been, ever since, I'm going to call it out to DJ, since I started my conversation with him. I just thought he's played so well last night. It felt like he found himself in a Nuggets uniform, and he was comfortable, and he played his game.
Agreed.
And so I just think that he knows what to do now. I mean, not that he didn't before because he's a veteran. I get that, but I just saw him come of age or whatever you want to call it in a Denver Nuggets uniform after so many games. I get it, but play like that all the time as that helper on that with that bench unit in there, and then if something happens, you get in the starting unit, you know what to do, because we need rebounds. We need people to stay on the boards. We need people to get that extras. When a bucket doesn't go and it's bouncing off the rim, you're there to put it back. Those are points too, and
Absolutely.
in basketball, when you're a strong veteran, you need to find that kind of energy to do those kinds of things, and you'll do well here. And I appreciated it last night.
Oh, absolutely. Davon Reed had a plus minus of 20 last night.
Yeah, he played a little bit with both the
pretty good.
squads, the starters and the.
I was thinking since we didn't get to talk about some of the games last week because of Thanksgiving, I wanted to know if you guys want to talk a little bit about the Clippers game and the Thunder game, because the Thunder game specifically, and maybe I'll like to start there. We had Bruce Brown have his first Nuggets triple-double.
Yes.
Actually, I think it was his first triple-double of his career.
Yes.
We had Vladko go for 20 points.
19.
He went for 20 points in the Thunder game. And not to mention, he hit a half court shot, a big half court shot.
Yeah, with some oddness that came out that they didn't end the half with the 2 seconds or whatever left, and when they had to start.
Yeah, that was against Dallas. And that was the one
Dallas.
I was gonna say is that was the game that MPJ had the big game winner.
Yeah,
1-1. That was an excellent game.
Yeah,
a very gritty win there.
Yeah.
But
you can see it snowballing on itself.
Yeah.
Those type of things, getting the confidence up, it just kind of spreads. It spreads amongst the whole team. And then, like you said, Chris, when you feel that you've contributed to a team win, in some way, a manner, however long you're in there, it keeps that team intact, and that's what we need going forward.
And then AG had 30 points in that game, and you're right, Chris. Vladko had 19, so that was on me. But as far as that team chemistry, game was really important because I think we were definitely down Bones, who's been out. I think the last
couple games,
3 or 4 games,
at least 2.
And we are also without Michael Porter that game.
2 games, yeah.
So that was a big win for the Nuggets.
Yeah, and back to that Dallas game really quickly. They did that without Jok, Mal, and AG.
Yeah. And that's
huge.
And that game was coming off a game where we lost to the Pistons. Remember? Because the Piston game was the game after that one, right? Yeah. So we've had there's been a lot of different Nuggets games in these moments. But I think what we've seen is that regardless, like whether it's a win or a lose, you're seeing a team that's rebounding really quickly.
Yeah.
Especially in our schedule, because I think that stretch was like. Maybe it was 3 games in 4 days.
They were away.
Yeah.
They were ill, or they had
on the road.
Sporadic roster moves they had to adjust for.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, when you have some trouble, or you have some things that stand in your way, and you get through them, that makes you stronger. So I'm just hoping to see good things for them. I mean, we're coming up to December, and then the infamous January, which we'll talk a lot about how important the month of January always is in the NBA season. So these kinds of things help you continue to build to get to that.
Yeah.
Dog days.
Before we get to January,
yeah.
I will say that the Nuggets they're showing over the past month. Just doing a November recap, I guess this could be, is that they know how to win in different ways. They've won without the big guys now. They've won with them. They've won with a good bench. They've won with a bad bench.
Yeah.
It's taken form, and it goes back to your point. Like, this is all gonna only bode well throughout the season when we get into January and February, March, and so on, and pray to God June.
Yeah.
Where like these games, are so valuable to see how they come together as a team, and I think. Being a fan, it's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And I give go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I wanted to say thank you, crowd, because they've been showing up to these games and they've been loud and they've been giving them all the energy they need to keep going too. So thank you for our home squad there.
Yeah,
that was helpful.
I was gonna say, since you're giving shout outs, I was also gonna give a shout out to Coach Malone, because he's been a lot better at coaching this year, as far as like some of the timeout issues he's had in the past, and
it's just funny when
rotations.
Yeah,
I think he's starting to really fill this team, and he's giving the people that need to play minutes in those times. Like Vladko had a couple big games this week, and I was just allowing him to play. You know what I mean? Or Davon last night, you actually let him play, right? And you choose the hands. You choose the hands that are playing well, and I think you got to give him credit for that. Defensively, I think there's still a little bit that we can work on.
A lot to.
The Rockets had 113 against us.
Yeah, we're getting better. But
the last team we held to under 100 points was on November 20th, so 9 days ago, against the Mavericks. So as long as we can get that defense going, I think that will really start. We'll really start getting teams because
You
we
know,
already shooting one of the best
yeah.
3-point shooting teams in the NBA right now.
Right. Yeah. Defense is it should be your go-to, start with, all of that. But it's right now you can see them getting better. They're thinking it through. They're not having, maybe I shouldn't say this, they aren't having those really ugly third quarters like they used to last year.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a few early, but I'm not on edge. I'm not anxious when they come out in the third quarter to see what they do anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they've held their own in a lot of them. So it's getting better. And
Yeah.
that's because of defense.
Yeah, I just hope that's a thing of the past, those bad third quarters. Because they're just too talented to.
They are.
You know, those. You know, it's funny. It's like we thought those teams were talented a couple of years ago. This team's a little bit more talented.
it
It's
is.
more
It's
well-rounded.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all shakes out. We've all got a shout out. You got a shout out. You got a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I want my shout out to be for November Cančar, as I'm starting to call him. Offense is one thing. He's had against Dallas, he had 7 points in that big game we said, including the half-court 3-pointer. He didn't miss a shot in that game. Then he comes home, or then the next game against OKC, he had the 19 that you mentioned. Against the Clippers, 13 last night. He didn't do anything. But I think last night's indicative of the games prior, is where it's not really necessarily his offense, even though he could get some buckets. It is his defense. My goodness. And just what we needed was just star to fall down and help us on defense, to piggyback off what you guys are saying. Hopefully he becomes – the dude's 6'8", 236. He's a big guy, wingspan galore, and he can help you when you play these teams like – the first one that comes to mind is Boston.
Yeah.
Or, all the good teams I'm thinking about are in the East right now. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I guess let's say Memphis. Memphis and a team we'll get into, spoiler alert, New Orleans, where they have a bunch of scores they could throw at you, not to mention the defending champions who we saw last season, the Warriors or Suns, where it's like they got a lot of scores. It's not just their main guys. And their main guys, we know their names. And they can go nuts. They can bury you by themselves, but they have help. And if we can get another defensive stopper that we didn't see coming up, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. No, you're right. We'll take it. We'll take all.
And I'll take this 3-game winning streak too. So let's switch over to not Nuggets. Let's look around the league a little bit. Chris, you want to start with the Kings? What do you want to say about them?
You know me, I'm very humble bragging out here. I just want to know I want everybody to know who listens to this podcast that before anyone on ESPN, maybe some people on NBA TV, you heard it here first, and I'm done with it. They're playing well. I'll leave it at that. The Kings. I'm not a Kings fan, but I know from just like watching NBA, the Kings will let you down. So, so I just want to give credit where credit is due. Even though they're on a little skid right now, they're still very talented. They score a ton.
You know who I like?
They average 119.
Let me guess.
Honestly, I like Fox.
Yeah,
Fox.
I think you say Kevin Herter.
No, I like Fox, bro. That man is a baller, bro.
Yeah.
He is.
And then
they're sitting in 7th place.
Seventh place, yeah. I don't
think
they're
on a little 3-game skid.
And then, 7. The last 10 games are 7-3.
Nuggets for whatever reason. I don't know about this year, but Nuggets that's a team the Nuggets get beat by. So like back in a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I hope this year we just beat them. Like I don't even want to have to worry about the Kings. Let them be a play-in team and just let them.
Well, if they stay at the 7, the Nuggets stay at the 2. We all know what that means.
That means a first-round play. That's good. I like to see that. Let's switch over to the Pacers and the Lakers. Lakers are up, 17?
17 at one point.
And I think this is just the epitome of the Lakers season as of now. It's just they can't find a way to win all the time. And they're just trying a lot of different things, but you hate to get beat by a rookie with a game-winning jumper like that.
I'm going to pause, because I've been hearing, I only watched one show earlier this morning, and they were talking about the Lakers, obviously. But I can't stand for this Mathurin slander. When we talked about them when they played the Nuggets, Benedict Mathurin is an absolute dog.
Oh, he's playing great basketball.
It's just the rookie that beat them is the question.
It's the cross-court pass by Tyler. What's his name? Tyrese Halliburton for me. Because you're thinking about dude, that should not happen. And it was literally maybe 1 second when the guy catches the ball. and just hits a
Yeah.
a wide open three on you.
Yeah.
It's just not good for Lakers.
Yeah,
But
it's not good for them.
But I don't even know. Outside the bubble season, and yes, this is a Nuggets fan not liking the Lakers, but outside the bubble season, Lakers haven't been good
No,
for
they haven't.
for going on like maybe
Mm-mm.
8 years now. So the one I think is
it's the tough thing to say, and I hate to be this guy that defends the Lakers.
Oh goodness.
But I'm also a football fan of a team in Denver that has been bad for a while. But guess what? When you got that ring in there, it does kind of suffice some of the ill. So, yeah, you can't just skim over the bubble season like it was. Without that season, and it's been bad for 8 years. Yes, they've been god-awful to much of my delight and pleasure. However, they did have a ring in there, so.
Okay.
And they beat us. Yes, we know.
Yeah, we get it. And they have LeBron.
But that being
AD.
said,
We get it.
I'm incredibly happy
Yeah.
that they are struggling this season. I'm happy that the Pacers walked them down, and I'm happy that they have they're 5-6 at home, because that means a lot of Lakers fans get to watch them lose. So
I will say I am a fan of Russ and LeBron. So with that, I mean, I wish they were doing a little better, but not that much better. Let's switch over to the other team in LA, the Clippers.
Yeah, we saw them.
I know it's coming. It's not what did they say? I know it's coming from one hurt team to another, but they can't stay healthy.
No, they cannot.
They cannot stay healthy.
No,
Kawhi has been. I think he's only played about 3 or 4 games this year. Paul George was out the game we played against them.
Both of them were out.
What do you say about that? Because on one hand, they play really good together, but it's kind of like what happened in the Nets. Like, you just couldn't get those 3 to play with each other. Now you're seeing it with the Clippers. This is going. They've been playing for 4 years together, and they don't have much to show for it because of health.
Yeah, it's tough. I just think it's tough. I mean,
are you insinuating they should blow it up?
I wouldn't say that. I'm just asking the question because I want to see what Jess Janet was going to take where she's going with that.
Sometimes, you just have a bad team because of the roster. And it's not because Kawhi and PG are on it. That would make it good. But they are never on the floor. And so you got to go with who you got. Yeah. And that team is just not going to be enough to hang with the tough West. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. It's just not. And that's what we're finding. They hung with us some. I get it, but that everybody gets paid. Everybody's an NBA player. They're gonna play well. They have some young stars, whatever they have on there, the mix, but it's just not enough.
And if you can't stay healthy during the regular season, when you get into a playoff series, the hard, what they say, dinking and banging in the paint. Yeah. It's gonna be tough for them to stay healthy.
It
is.
And
as Nuggets fans, they can have a whole roster of health, and the Nuggets still could get them because you know what happened in the bubble.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. What you got to say, Chris?
I want to push back a little bit on that. They may not win a championship or get out the first or second round, but to your point is they haven't played much. The 2 big guys. But they've been a playoff team. They're well coached. This sounds a little strange saying they might be the best front office, training. Like, they're a well-run organization.
Okay, we'll take that.
The Clippers are.
Mm-hmm.
They're very well coached.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Lue is excellent.
Yeah.
They've had a winning record.
Owner is good. We like
They've had a winning record each of the seasons that you've talked about.
It's just tough.
And they're always around. But that's the thing. It's tough, and it's kind of. I just do have a little bit of faith in them. I think they're good. I don't think they're upper echelon good. They're not with the Nuggets and the Suns.
Well, we put it.
It's fun to say that we're in that.
Yeah, but to me, the LA teams, be it the Lakers or the Clippers, have the same kind of problem, except for LeBron plays a lot more than Kawhi does, and then AD and PG. I don't know. Pick. Do whatever cross reference you want with those 4, but it's the same problem with both of those teams. So that I see.
And speaking of problems, we have the Nets as well.
Oh.
But I will say on this time, the problem is actually Ben Simmons is playing a lot better.
Yeah, he is.
And I think that Ben Simmons playing a lot better does make that team.
And KD played out of his mind the other night.
I'll say Ben Simmons playing on that team is like, you just want a third scorer.
Yeah,
I think in NBA, like,
you have to have
it used to be you needed two guys. You need Shaq and Penny. You need Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
But now you really need 3 guys that are going to step up and really, because you saw what happened with Milwaukee when Chris Middleton went.
Right.
Because when Chris
It's
Middleton
true.
went down, Boston became
Yeah.
they're too much to handle.
Yeah,
Even Milwaukee was up 3-2
No, I
in that
agree.
series. So
agree.
I think Ben Simmons, even if he can get to
Some
if he can
level.
get to 15-10-5, 15-10-7 for a playoff series for them, that does a lot when you have Kyrie scoring 30 points, when you have KD scoring 35 points.
If you need 3, sorry to make a not Nuggets point about the Nuggets. Who's the Nuggets third?
You would think you read my mind. I think you don't have to know. I
And
think
that-
you know you got Jok and Mal, and you can have AG, you can have Jok and Mal and MPJ, you can have Jok and Mal and KCP,
and
you can
that-
have Jok and Mal. We're in a different
that was going to be my
realm this year.
pushback to that.
Yeah.
You have to have 3-point. I think you have to have 2, and you have to have a good enough 3 batch that they can be 3 at each.
Batch.
Yeah, you have to have the batch. You have to have the
word.
batch.
But it's still
Exactly.
3.
But you
No
need to
matter
have
how
a
you-
Rick Fox. You need to have
But it's
a.
still 3 no matter how you.
Yeah,
you,
I don't
you
agree
do
with
it.
what you're saying at
I-
all.
we-
No, but
Because-
it's not. You don't have to have a Kevin McHale Parrish or a Worthy Kareem and Magic. Pippen and Mike won 6 of them. Who was their third? It was Rodman sometimes. It was Horace Grant sometimes. It was a mixture of.
yeah, but I'm talking about this NBA one.
Yeah.
And,
And who was it? Who was the Warriors 3 last night? Poole or
Poole?
Draymond?
Poole.
Or Draymond?
It doesn't matter.
It
That's
doesn't
my
matter.
point.
But I'm saying it's interchangeable.
No, but this you're making different points. This is what we're saying. At the end of
You
the
don't
day,
have to have a
we
solidified 3. I say you
Yeah,
have to have a
we
solidified
don't-
2 with the 3
We know what you
bunch.
said. We get what you're saying. We're saying, look it. We have Jamal Murray. No
Yeah.
doubt, he's one.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying when I said
Right,
one.
one-
Obviously,
one of the two.
One of the two.
Uh-huh.
Number 1, number 2. We have the 2-time MVP in Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Number 3, Michael Porter could go and get you 20 points in a
Yeah.
game. AG can
AG.
give you 20 points in a game.
KC.
Bones Highland can give you 20 points in a
KCP.
game. So when it comes down to
we're just
when I'm saying the 3 in NBA now in this time in the NBA, that 3 piece, those
Yeah.
3 pieces are important. And right now, if the Nets can get Ben Simmons to be that 3rd piece for them, that does well for them in the NBA. Where when you go out in the playoffs, you're gonna need somebody to step up. It's the same reason why the Bucks didn't win until they had Drew Holiday
Yeah.
because he became
And
the
the
third
third one.
piece. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
And
And we know it's smart.
We're both
And we
saying
know-
the same
and I'm
thing.
going
I'm
to-
just
Yes,
saying you
we
don't need a
are.
definitive
We're going to
3.
shake and move on. But
Yeah.
now that we're still not Nuggets and Boston, until they had some
Yeah,
a
smart-
consistent 3 smart,
smart
Jalen Brown and
Tatum.
Tatum,
yeah.
they weren't going to go.
And it's the same reason, and we can end it here, is the same reason why Joel Embiid,
yeah.
as a Sixer,
Sure, yeah.
we have Joel Embiid, we have James Harden, Maxey's coming
Maxey,
along.
Yeah.
That's
So
going to
he
be
could
the
be-
thing that helps
Yeah.
them potentially get to
And
the
to
next
Christoph's
level.
point, we
Yeah.
are agreeing with you that our third is we're lucky it's by committee. It
Mhm.
can be by committee. It ain't a whole lot of teams can say that. So
Yeah.
that is a good point to move off of
Yeah.
of this one.
But I was going to say, as far as Sixers, what do you think about Joel Embiid playing? He's in and out of health, but he's doing pretty good, too. He's playing some good
he's doing
basketball.
well. Yep. They what do you think about the Sixers?
I think they're on schedule.
On
Okay.
schedule.
You know, take a football term. You know, first down, you want to get 4 or 5
Following the
yards.
process?
Yeah, just moving the change.
And is there
Trust the process.
Okay,
leading
just
scorer?
trust the
Is there
process.
leading scorer this year actually Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah, looks that way. I mean,
Interesting.
yeah.
So he made a move upward over the summer.
No,
and
actually, Embiid is
I was
Embiid-
gonna say.
32.1.
I was gonna say why. I don't know
Okay.
why. I was looking at that. I was like, why does it say he is the high scorer? I guess that maybe that last night.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. That was a good segment on the around the league. I'd like to go into the 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes
We got 2 minutes remaining, and Thanksgiving was last week.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be fun if we just go around and say, we'll say one nugget that we're thankful for, and then we'll say one non-nugget that we're thankful for. I'll let you start, Chris.
Me?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, you're gonna give me the pick of the litter.
Yeah, go
Um,
for
I thought I was gonna be last or second.
it.
So obviously, the nugget I'm thankful for is Nikola Jokic.
Okay, well.
Every single time I watch him, it's like, and I'll do this for my not nugget little tease, is that he's just so good. Like, it's like when you watch him, I'm always in awe. Like,
Yeah.
when he's not on the court or when he was missing games when he was sick, like, you just watch other centers, they don't have it. And
No.
and I know Embiid he's like dominating. He shoot threes, and he's excellent. And he's very well same way Philly fans and even I as NBA fans say the same thing. I enjoy watching Embiid. But there's something like special about players like Jokic and Giannis and
Yeah.
Bron and Steph. It's like there's like it's like they got fairy dust on him or something. And I think I'm just thankful that I'm a cognitive adult who's been a fan for long enough to appreciate it from a basketball and a Nuggets perspective. And he's the 2-time MVP.
Well,
he's excellent.
I'm telling you, if I'm in overtime, I want Jokic on my team. I want him on my team because he will take over that. It's like, I'm tired of this. I don't know why we're in this overtime. Give me the ball.
Do you remember when you're like in Little League basketball, how they're like, this kid has to touch the ball before we decide to get into our plays? Yeah. That's how I feel with the Nuggets. Like the moment I see a possession without Jokic touching the ball,
especially down the stretch. Wasn't it that Detroit game?
Yeah, there's just been games where I'm like,
Detroit game when they didn't let him touch the ball the last couple possessions, and we're like, we're screaming.
Yeah.
Give it to him. Just hand it over.
It makes the offense run more efficient. Teams double team. Yeah. You get guys in space. It just makes the game easier for the Nuggets. I'm just thankful
that I get to watch him night in and night out. So I was going to ask a question. Do you want us to go around and say them, both of them, or do you want you guys want to do your Nuggets and then I'll do my non-Nuggets?
Well, we probably got my Nugget. I'm sorry if you wanted to say this, Kyle, but Bruce Brown. I just think that he is playing his best. I can't say I've watched every game he's ever played in his career, but I know, but he is doing great for us, and great for himself, and he's just making a name. And when you get the spotlight. And you can do something with the spotlight like he has with that triple-double, with all his defense. I think it's infectious when your defense is now going to spread to the rest of the Nuggets to help, keep them straight. And he does that for us. But he's been a standout for me. Okay. That's what I think.
I would agree. He's got that prime, new free agent come in. He's seeking to win. Yeah. And it's just... He's brought a great energy to the team.
That's a great point. He knows that he's in a situation where, hey, we can win.
And that's kind of refreshing when you think about where the situation just left.
Yeah, it's like we can win.
Kind of odd when you put that together.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you guys know who I'm going to say. Because I've been saying the same person all the time. But I want to say someone else, but I have to say who it is. Bones Highlands.
Mile High City!
Bones Highlands, again. And this is the reason why, though. So Chris talks about it from that starting five with Jokic, right? I mean Joker. When you look at Bones, he really sets off that bench, and I think the Nuggets, as long as we have a solid bench, like minutes, strong 10, 15 minutes in a game, especially in the playoffs, it's gonna make a big difference. So Bones being out there and who can give you 20 points off the bench and really set up DeAndre Jordan for easy dunks and can get Bruce Brown into the offense, it does make a big difference. A lot of people was giving him some credit. They're like, he's playing like AI out there. I don't want to say all that, but he was playing. He's been playing good basketball.
Thing. Yeah.
But yeah, we can go to non-Nugget now.
Yeah. Let me honorable mention because I didn't think I was got the first pick.
Okay.
I planned to have the second or third. I would have said KCP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm very thankful.
See, that's the thing. That's what we were saying. There's so many that we would have to give some credit to. But KCP.
I just wanted to throw that one in there. I thought Jokic would be gone by the time I said it.
And then I always say AG. I got it in this time. AG. AG always. It's just been so consistent. Just so consistent.
My not nugget that I'm thankful for is Steph Curry. And it's come a long way from me saying that because at Davidson I didn't like him. I truly didn't. I thought
then when he beat the Nuggets and when he was just a starter.
No, it was truly at Davidson. I didn't like him. Okay. I didn't think shooting was gonna. He was a huck and duck person for all I cared. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm just gonna throw it. But the thing is, what I didn't realize then that looking back on it, dude was winning in the He was taking Davidson.
Yeah, right.
Who hasn't done anything before or after to Sweet 16s, plural. So there was something he had going then, and I just didn't realize it. Then he gets in the league, and he has changed the game of basketball.
Absolutely.
You can say what you must, but if you watch the Nuggets or you watch the NBA, they take north of 20, 25 threes a game. Yeah. And you can say infusion of analytics, but there has to be a person born to showcase that the analytics work. Yes, obviously, we're all mature enough and smart enough to know that threes count more than twos.
Yeah.
And the analytics say that, obviously. But if there was no Steph Curry and then all the subsequent people who can hit the threes at the volume that they're being hit at, he's the one. And when you look back, I think he obviously LeBron and Kobe and a few others, Shaq, that when I'm talking to my kid and they're like, you got to watch. Yeah. I'd be like, Steph Curry. I got to watch Steph Curry, so I'm
So he's
thankful
the
for
Sir
that.
Isaac Newton of analytics for you.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, obviously we all knew gravity was a thing,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but the apple had to hit one person on the head, and he shot a lot of apples into nets. So.
All right, Just Janet, what you have?
Just Janet says Jason Tatum. I just think he's just arrived. You could see his progression over the last year. He got, he was right there. He went to the Olympics. I mean, he did all this stuff. But this year, he put it all together, and he's putting it all together. And they're a tough out. They're going to be a tough out for any good team, and it'll be a good series, whether you meet them wherever. They're gonna be a tough out. So I think Jason Tatum. He's obviously, I don't know, y'all might think I'm wrong, but I think he's a leader of that squad. I mean, I know Jaylen Brown and him were, jockeying for who was the lead guy. But I think Jason won it. Jalen's good, don't get me wrong, but I think Tatum did. So
yeah. I guess I'll end with Carmelo Anthony. No, I'm just joking. We haven't made it. No one said anything all day, but and not to mention he's got a new wine out, Seven Estate. So
not an endorsement.
If you like Carmelo and you like wine, then that's a good person. No, I'm just joking. As far as my favorite, non-Nugget right now, I'll do one that's probably no one will say is Cade Cunningham. And the reason I say Cade is because
we missed seeing him when we
didn't get to see him play. Like, I think so. You got LeBron, Steph, KD, all those are the old guard of the NBA, right? But I think somebody like a Cade probably won't necessarily be able to do for the game that those guys have done. But I do think he's like could be someone special that we see in the NBA as he continues to grow. And if Detroit can get back to Detroit basketball, the way they play it, if they can get back to that level, I think it'd be because of someone like Cade Cunningham. So, and it's a unique name. No one really kind of talks about them as a basketball team, but I think he is a good basketball player. And that's who I'm going with.
All right.
I think we can hang it up there, though.
Right.
I guess I will say the Nuggets, our upcoming games, we have the Rockets tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I believe
should win.
Yeah, should win. And then I believe after that we have the Hawks on Friday. And then the one I'm excited to see is the Pelicans on Sunday.
New Orleans.
So that'll be our next 3 games, and we'll see if we can take them out. We'll take these teams out and go Nuggets for sure on these.
Go
next
Nuggets.
3. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Just Nuggets podcast. You can find us on Twitter. And thank you all for checking in, and take care. Have a good week.
Have a good week.